Remember who you are. A Dupree woman. Find your inner strength.
Once we launch my purse line, we'll be on our way to giving the Kardashians a run for their money. I'm gonna shake things up.
A cycle of anger isn't healthy.
I'll be healthy again. As soon as I make a couple of cheaters pay for blowing up my life.
There were a number of times when you, or a member of your family, needed a favor. This is a situation where you owe me one. Have a nice rest of your day.
It sounds like someone deliberately tried to hurt you.
Sounds like attempted murder.
Can't imagine how terrified you must have been.
I found out who did this.
I love you, Derek.
For one night, let me remind you who you still are.
I fell in love with an inconvenient man.
Now you have to deal with the inconvenient consequences. You see how that works?
You couldn't possibly.
Talk about making a stellar impression. As we were preparing to write our various end-of-year stories, it became pretty clear that one soap had proven itself to be the best of the current batch, by far. So much better than the rest is beyond the gates that, quite frankly, we're shocked more of you aren't watching. But hey, given that soaps are never-ending medium, it's never too late to start. In fact, we think turning into this show should be your New Year's resolution. Trust us, it'll be easier to keep than that old "I'll go to the gym every day" one we all make and break annually. To that end, we're going to help by recapping everything that went down during the show's inaugural year, and even offer to answer any questions you might leave in the comments. Ready? Let's do this. Daphnee took her shot. Talk about starting with a bang. During the opening episodes, so distressed was Daphnee by the news of ex-hubby Bill's plan to marry the younger woman with whom he'd cheated that she slipped into a black dress, attended the ceremony and pointed a gun at the happy couple. Ultimately, the only casualty was a vase of flowers, R.I.P., and a bit of Daphanee's dignity. But if Hayley thought she could marry her way into respectability, she was wrong. As for Daphnee, although it appeared for a while she might develop a drinking problem, she instead found herself enjoying the tall drink of water that was Andre, who happened to be her nephew by marriage. Needless to say, the family was not particularly thrilled with the situationship, even though Daphnee insisted it wasn't serious. And for a while, she probably even believed it. When not perusing her many wig options, Leslie hopped on a motorcycle to drive Nicole's assistant, Laura, off the road. Why? So that while the young woman was in the hospital, Leslie's daughter, Eva, could become secret dad Ted's assistant. By the time Eva started to actually like the guy she'd been taught to hate, the damage was done. During Ted and Nicole's anniversary bash, Leslie took center stage to reveal that she was Ted's ex-lover and Eva their offspring. Nicole dumped her husband to begin dating his partner, Carlton. Later, the new man in her life would get competition in the form of Kill. As for Leslie, she continued trying to woo her Teddy Weddy even as he worked hard to avoid her clutches and found himself intrigued by co-worker Shanice, with whom he finally shared a kiss on New Year's Eve. While the entire community was shocked by Leslie's revelation, Kat took the whole thing hardest. She soon took all the energy not devoted to launching her new purse line with Chelsea and channeled it into hating on her new half-sister, Eva. Things went from bad to downright scandalous when 5 seconds after breaking up with Kat, Thomas hit the sheets with Eva. Even as loved ones urged Kat to find a way to deal with her bitterness, she and Thomas managed to get their relationship back on track. But with Bill telling his young protégé how important it was to present a stable, family image, we were left to wonder if his suggestion that Kat move in was genuine or all about improving his chances at partnership. As for Eva, she found herself intrigued by, and falling for, Jacob's brother, Isaiah. Former recording star Anita convinced Sharon and Tracy, aka her fellow articulates, they should do one final show. First, the ladies had to get past the issues which had torn them apart years earlier. They dedicated the performance to fellow founding member Barbara, who had died by suicide. Shockingly, it turned out that Leslie was Barbara's daughter, and thus the heir to a trust Anita had established. With seemingly endless cash at her disposal, Leslie joined the country club and bought the house across the street from Vernon and Anita. Despite clearly having lingering feelings for Bill, Daphnee ran off to Vegas with Andre and the two, while very drunk, got married. The officiant. An Anita Dupree impersonator. Nobody back in Fairmont Crest was thrilled by the marriage, sure it would quickly fall apart. But to everyone's surprise, including the newlyweds, Danny and Andre found themselves truly falling in love. That said, Bill seemed to lurk around every corner, especially when any issues arose concerning their daughters. You'd think that being married to a rich, handsome man would be enough for Haley. But soon after she faked a miscarriage, it turned out the schemer, and her cousin Randy, were plotting to kill the DMV's top attorney and abscond with his fortune. She began slipping her hubby poison at every opportunity, but then began to freak out at the thought of a doctor figuring out what she was up to. Things got even more complicated when Lynette, her former partner in crime, showed up as Bill's new client. Thanks to local casino owner and all-around scoundrel Joey, Doug fell deep into debt even as his complicated marriage to Vanessa began falling apart. The blonde eventually headed to the tropics for a getaway with Joey, during which her husband died in a mighty suspicious car accident. In the wake of Doug's passing, Vanessa became more and more entangled with Joey, both personally and professionally, even as everyone in her circle warned that he was bad news. Although he fought going public, by New Year's Eve they were attending the country club's party as a couple. For months, Martin was haunted by a secret from his past. As Smitty began getting closer to the truth, we eventually learned that Vernon and Martin had been attacked by two racists on a dark road. Martin had killed one man to protect Vernon, and the other, who'd been badly injured, was now working at the country club and blackmailing the politician. Several of the local men, including Joey and crooked cop Marcel, joined forces to deal with Reed, kill Kenneth. After enjoying a threesome with a married couple, Chelsea found herself falling for a doc named Madison. But Allison, the female half of the couple Chelsea'd slept with, became obsessed with and eventually kidnapped Chelsea. Tearing a page from the soap stalker handbook, Allison declared that if she couldn't have Chelsea, nobody could, even donning a wedding dress so they could be married. Allison was caught and jailed, but the trauma continued to haunt Chelsea even as family issues caused problems in her relationship with Madison. While trying to help an unhoused woman named June, Jacob and Naomi discovered that she was actually the woman who'd given birth to Martin and Smitty's teens, Tyrell and Samantha. Martin and Smitty initially feared that June would try and take the children away from them. But over time, June proved herself and was welcomed into the extended family. Meanwhile, a pregnancy scare reinforced for Naomi that she wanted to focus on her career as opposed to a baby. Unfortunately, it stirred within Jacob a desire to become a father. They attended marriage counseling and seemed to get themselves back on track, but it seemed inevitable the issue would bubble to the surface again. Although Ashley and Derek seemed like the perfect couple at first, moving in together exposed cracks in their relationship. It also quickly became obvious that she had feelings for Andre. Derek was about 6 seconds from being dumped when an accident left him paralyzed. Mostly out of guilt, although she'd deny it, Ash stayed with Derek and even prepared to become his bride. But upon discovering that he'd been keeping his partial recovery a secret, Ashley, sure he was using paralysis to keep her, called things off.